business. So I did my summer training in Bajaj Auto. I worked in their export department for about a couple of months, I guess. And the day I entered, they were all very thrilled. And the reason they were thrilled was not because I had any amount of export knowledge that they wanted to use. They were thrilled because I could speak French and I could translate French. And they sell to all these French-speaking African countries. So I ended up translating everything, and I ended up being more of that. And that was something that I could use somehow, that okay, these are the people we work with. And that's how you really go. And then the logical next step would be Kinetic. So you go to Kinetic and say that okay, we work for Bajaj, so not a very bad idea to work with us. Of course, it all seems very easy now, talking about it later on, but of course it takes a lot of time. Between 1991 and 1995, we just went from one client to 3 clients. Because that was, again, as I said, the wonder year 1971. You graduate at the right time, when India opens its doors. You can't be luckier, because before that there was nothing. So we were right there when the economy opened up. So things were kind of easy and difficult in the same breath. As far as pricing our services is concerned, I guess it was a question of survival. It was a typical class where there were about 10 odd girls and I was the only guy. And they were, honestly, I mean, that's what they told me. I'm not being judgmental. They said, we are doing this because there's still time and we can't get married right now. So, which is why were they doing? I said, I can't speak like you, so I have to do something about what I've learned. So that's how you get started, and then you realize that you need to survive. As a guy, you need to make some money so that you can have some kind of a decent life. So I guess pricing and all are the bad words of industrialization. I think whatever they gave us, we took. It started like that, honestly. I mean, we worked for peanuts. I remember when we, Bajaj Auto, as I said, first client, they used to pay us something like 5 or 10 paise per word. And although it wasn't bad money because it all went into one single pocket, so it still meant that you could cover costs and basically treat your friends who had no jobs. So that's how it started. But then they eventually, something like a market price or something that came very late, probably 96, 97, around that time. But now you have a pricing model. Now, of course, we have a pricing model.
Have you opted for any venture funding?
Oh yeah, that's the temptation we have resisted until now. But we intend to do that this year or the year after that. But that's something we chose to grow organically, because we first wanted to do something about the problems that this industry faces. Now, we've taken quite a few steps, in the sense we've started a very unique initiative. So we started these French and German classes. Again, as I said, you can go on and on cribbing that there are no people. So we just said, let's see if we can change things. So we started French and German classes. Now the difference is that these classes are free of cost, and which means the students who are going to learn, and students in the sense anybody can, it's free for anybody to apply, anybody who's looking to switch careers, typically women who have probably quit jobs after post-delivery or something, want to restart their careers. We are looking for people with a technical background, engineering, science background. The least we can settle for is a commerce background, or brilliant students from the art faculty. So that's the prerequisite. Now these are the kind of courses we are running to kind of get some people out of the entire course. So we'll actually not only teach the language, which is what everybody does, and that's something that again we have stayed away from. There are language institutes mushrooming everywhere in the country, and very lucrative, tempting business that we have very consciously chosen to stay away from. But once we really get this started, we are in our second year now. Once we get this started, I think that's the time we would go for some funding.
So that sort of relates into, you might think of venture funding, so can you talk a little bit about your plans? Like, where do you see your company in about 5 years?
Again, I'm not a very conventional person, as you might have figured out by now. So I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan because I don't think with a plan you can probably reach somewhere for sure. We have a broad idea. Plan is a very big word, and you can't plan your life. So we kind of know that we want to do good work every single day. We want to add a person whenever it's possible. We want to add a client whenever it's possible. We don't want to cheat anybody. We don't want people to cheat us. We don't want to really have money come in when we know, and which is probably why we didn't go in for the funding, because we really want to be honest with our investor, whoever he or she is going to be. I know for a fact that not much is going to change. I knew that a few years ago. So there's no point in getting in investment. So to say in 5 years, I don't know, maybe I'll be doing the same thing, but I think I'll still be happy. We'll still be trying to change this industry. We'll still be trying to get a lot more professionalism in the translation industry, and maybe we'll be a 100 crore company, maybe we'll just be where we are. So
No, let me rephrase. What I meant to ask was, do you see, has something changed that made you decide, okay, we need funding? Typically people go for funding because, okay, they want to expand and they have done all the research and say, okay, we need some capital to expand. So do you see something changing in your line, or you see something that's why you're going?
yeah, in the sense, we have been able to create some amount of translators, professional translators, and we are fairly confident we can do that at a certain pace. Which means, like I said, for a typical business, the problem is how do I get the business? There are people, good or bad, there are at least people. In our case, there are no people. So if you don't have people, what do you do with the business? So we have the business. Every year we have a software that we have built for ourselves. And we have this system where every single project that we can't take up is recorded, and we kind of know the value of the business, which is why I said with so much certainty that our negative turnover is at least 10 times our positive turnover every single year. So we have the business. The moment we get in investment, we can have these resources that now have been created come on board. And that's the reason we are probably thinking of funding now and didn't do it earlier, because earlier there were no people. So in the last 2 years we have been trying to create these translators, and that has been a fairly successful activity.
Hi, my name is Raj. As an entrepreneur, we have to devote time to various functions of the business. For example, new product development, raising finance, generating business, hiring good people, customer support and all that. What would be your suggestion, or from your experience, like how much percentage of time can be devoted to each of these functions? The business runs smoothly and also it expands. My second question is that any tips on effectively utilizing our time as an entrepreneur?
Actually, we have followed a very different model in our company. So probably 80% of the key team of BITS, by 80, almost 100% of the key team of BITS have been friends ever since I have known them, so since childhood. And I have probably found a way to accommodate these people in the business, and which I think is a brilliant way to grow. For them, for you, for everybody. It's a all-win situation, because you can trust your friends, they can trust you back. There's nothing like an employee-employer kind of a relationship. You can actually share the business with them, and which is where you would have a lot more owners thinking about the interest of the same company, as opposed to one person who chooses to be the boss, retain everything. So I think that's a model which I think should work for most startups. So if you can keep key functions, I mean, your typical question was how do you really go around devoting all that time to all these. So for example, in my case, for example, my friend, he's somebody who looks into the financial and legal matters of the company. So the trust is complete, which means I just don't have to look into it at all. So you save time, somebody is looking into just one thing, and we have our roles very clearly defined and cut out. So somebody is focusing on sales, somebody is focusing on something else. Yes, sir.
I have a follow-up question to this. You said that there are some key members in the team who take care of their complete responsibility. Have you shared equity with them? or it's still they are